Good morning, YouTube. Gypsy here. Today we are going to be doing part 3 of our French beaded mini wildflower series. In our first part, I showed you guys how to make the petals of the flower. In the second part, I showed you guys how to make 2 different kinds of leaves. And in this part, I will show you guys how to put everything together. If you haven't liked or subscribed to my channel, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. It only takes a couple of seconds and it really helps me out. I say this in all of my videos. Thank you for coming and watching with me. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch the camera angle down so we can go ahead and get started. Be right back. Okay guys, now that I've got the camera angled down so that you can see my desktop area, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you all of the parts. So these are the flowers that we made in the first episode. Then we've got our 2 different leaves that we made in our second episode. We're going to be making one of my hair clips. So we've got our hair clip base. Trying to make it so you guys can see our hair clip base here. And these flowers are actually going to go onto the base. And then we've got our it's actually a candle holder that I use for my mini flower bases, and I've got styrofoam shoved in here to help hold the flowers in, and so that's what these guys are going to be going into. They'll be going into this. We have our floral tape. You're going to need floral tape for the mini potted flowers. We also have silk thread, which we're going to need for our mini potted flowers. It's embroidery thread. You can get it at any craft store. Walmart actually carries it. It's what you would use in like cross stitch. I just put them on these plastic, which you can get these at any craft store too. It's make sure that the reason that we use this is so that it doesn't get tangled as you're using it, as you're wrapping it. I have my scissors for being able to cut things. I have wire cutters to trim off any excess wire. I have pliers. I think that's about it. So we're gonna go ahead and I want to start with the hair clip. So since we're doing the hair clip, we don't need this. We don't need this. All right. So you're going to take these little leaves that we made. Oh, that way. There we go, that we made. And you're actually going to make like a hole, a circle here. And you're going to slip this through that circle. And this is before you tie your wires. You don't want to twist any of your wires until you have this positioned where you like it on the back of your flower. And I know this doesn't seem to make sense, but you're like, well, these are just going on a hair clip. Why do you need all of this detail work? It actually shows up on your hair clip once you get it all put together. So once you get in position where you want to, you're going to take your wires and just like a twisty tie, you're going to twist them together. Now you're going to have this extra wire sticking out the back. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you get this, there's a wire here, it's sticking out. There we go. And you're going to bend it down. Rearrange your little leaves. You're going to bend this wire down and you're going to actually go around the base wire from the stem here with it. And then you're going to take your pliers and you're going to kind of squish that down. You want to make sure there's nothing sticking up because this is actually going in somebody's hair or your hair. And there's nothing like having a piece of metal sticking out, poking you in the head. Alright, so that's one. So that's what it looks like on the back. And then on the front, you can actually kind of, I don't know if my camera will pick it up or not, but you can kind of see the leaves through the petals. So that was the first one. This is the second one. Oh, I forgot to tell you. When we made our flowers, they started off like this. Right? They stick up. You need to squash the stem down like that. So that it'll lay flat. Because you want them, these are going to sit like this on top of each other. And then this whole thing is going to sit on top of this, so you need it to be squished down. Alright, so let's take our second set of little leaves, and we're going to do the same thing like we did with the first one. You're going to twist these around until they're in the position that you want them in. Then once you get them where you want them, twisty tie your wires together. Again, it's sticking up. Oops, and it fell off. If it falls off, it's fine. Just stick it right back in. There we go. And this is why we wrap it around the stem. So go ahead and wrap that around the stem so that it stays in place. Now remember, wire's pretty durable, but if you manipulate it too much, it will snap, which is something you don't want to do. And then go ahead and move these around the bottom the way you want them. Like, that's the bottom. Like that. Like that. Okay? And this is it from the front. You can actually see the leaves sticking out, which is good, because now we're going to have a little bit of green. There'll be green there. That'll look nice. Okay. Now the reason we did 5 is because we had 5 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we've got these 5 little ones, and they stick out between the petals. So that's how you can actually see. You can see it better on my black. You can see them. Alright, now again, position the little flower on top of the big flower. You want to make sure that you can still see the little bead here in the big flower. And then what I do is I actually twist these stems together once I have it in place. And I'll twist the little one around the big one. Take your pliers and tighten everything down. Just like that. Make sure there's nothing sticking up that'll poke you. And so now we've got this. So that's the top. And this is what it looks like from the back. And I like to go ahead. This is the tricky part, is getting this connected onto here. Now some people, they say, oh, use glue. I always reinforce with hot glue at the end. But I like to also make sure that the wires are not just glued on, they need to be wrapped on. So at this point I kind of bend the stem up a little bit. This part's tricky because you have to hold this open. Get your wire in there. So at this point I do that. I opened up the hair clasp and I stuck my wire through it, and right now my flowers are on the side. So what you can do, you push it up, kind of bend your wires where you want them, or your flowers where you want them. Like this. So I want my flowers right there, which means that you're going to bend this up. And then I twist these wires back. So, this is something that, depending on how long your wires are and how you position your final wire, depends on how they're going to sit on the top of your barrette. Now a little trick is there is a wider part down here at the bottom of it. That's where you want to try to sit your wires into, is in there. Now remember, like I said, I always go back in and I hot glue everything. Just for reinforcement. Take any wires that may be sticking up that could possibly poke you and pinch them down. Sorry, I'm trying to stay on camera. But like I said, this is the hardest part, is getting everything on and secured. Making sure somebody's hair is not going to get stuck in it. Nothing like wearing a hair clasp and your hair getting stuck. And that kind of hurts. Actually, it really hurts. Alright, so I got that basically where I want it. Right? Yeah. Okay, that's pretty. And then, let's move some things around. Hold on. Once you have that on, then you have a little flower, but then you have your leaves as well. So you have to decide at this point how many leaves you want to use. You want to use 3, you can use 3. If you want to use 2, you can use 2. Let's see. I always have at least 1. So that's it with 1. Let's see what 2 looks like. Maybe I want... We're going to switch this one up. This is a bigger leaf. I'm going to put this one in. The goal is to try to cover up the silver of the hair. What is it? Is it a barrette? Hair clip? Now these pieces are really cute for little girls. I wear them. So they're cute on adults too. They are larger, so they look really pretty if you do like a French twist. You could put them in that way. Let's see, do I want this one on there or not? That's pretty. Some kind of cascading like that. 1, 2, 3. Alright. So I like that look, which means now we gotta get everything tied down. And the way I tie this down is I stick the stems in up through where we attached the flowers, and I twist that wire around. Pick up your pliers. Sorry, I'm off camera. I'm trying to see what I'm doing. And kind of squish it in place. Okay, so that's one leaf, which it already looks pretty with just the one. But I kind of like having more up here as well. So we're going to do another leaf here. Everybody always asks me, do you have a plan when you're doing these? Nope. I have a general idea of what they're going to look like. But for the most part, they never ever look the way I had planned. Ever. Is that where I want you? Yep. Actually, to just do back like that. There we go. Like that, and then position it the way I want it. Just right there. Again, hot glue to keep them in place. Now the question is do I want to do a third leaf? So this is what we got so far, which is really pretty. I don't know if putting a third one in here is going to overwhelm it or not. Let's see. I don't know. Like that? Some people might like that. Some might not. Instead of having there, what about possibly up here? Let's see. No, that's a definite no. Should I just leave it like that? I think I'm liking just the two. Unless I put them up here. That's pretty. Yeah, let's do it up here. Okay. Secure them on. I was asked once, have you ever learned how to do flower arranging? Or did you ever take a class for it? Nope. Like everything I do, I find stuff on YouTube. And I like this video. These videos I know aren't the greatest tutorials. This is pretty much me showing you guys how I do my process. Like that. Alright. Now I don't have my hot glue gun out here because I don't hot glue at my desk, since this is at my desk, but this is the final result. I'll put it on the black so that you can actually see. And like I said, these you can use my daughter. I've made several of them for my youngest daughter because she absolutely, I might switch these two over. She loves hair bows and hair barrettes and headbands and stuff. So she helped me one day sort all of my buttons. And I went through and I let her pick out her own colors. That kind of thing. And so she has one of these. So a little girl that looks really cute. If you pull their hair back, you put it with their ponytails, or she's got really long bangs. So you put it on the side of her head. Looks like she's got a little bouquet on the side of her head. Hers is smaller because she is a little girl. Something like this would be beautiful for like a wedding on the front if you're fridge beading, or for a dance or some kind of special occasion. Heck, you can wear it. You don't have to have a special occasion. You can just wear it, whatever. So there's that. Like I said, I just have to hot glue everything in the back, and when I hot glue it, because this is still loose, I will just hot glue along the top up here, and then I will put some hot glue back here just to reinforce the beads so that everything stays where I want it to stay. But yeah, so that's the bottom. That's what the bottom will look like. The bottom still looks really nice. Everything's nice and neat, which is what you want. You have to make sure that nothing's going to get stuck in anybody's hair. So you run your hands and your fingers across it several times, especially once you get the glue on there. And then that's the front. You can either wear it that way, or they can wear it this way. Whichever way works for them. Or sideways. That's what it would look going in the French bead on the side, which is really pretty. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the next one. Put this little guy here. For this next one, you will need pliers, you will need wire cutters, you will need scissors, you will need your floral tape, and you will need this, I had a brain fart, embroidery thread, and your base. You'll also have to figure out what you want to decorate your base with, because you don't want this foam just sticking out. Which I'm going to push that down a little bit more. You don't want the foam sticking out. Usually when I do mine, I put moss on the top. I will glue moss in there. Hot glue it. Hot glue it, or E6000 glue it. Okay. So we have our pretty flowers, and just like the last time, you're going to take these. You're going to kind of make a loopy. Because you're closing these up. Right. Make a loop. So now you've got like a 5-pointed star. You can't see because all of my stuff's in the way. Let me move this. 5-pointed star kind of thing. You're going to take your flower, and this goes down in between. In the middle of that hole. So as you can see, maybe, they kind of stick out. Now, these, you're gonna you want them to be tight. So if your hole's not tight enough, take it apart. I want these to be tight. It's really windy outside, I can hear it howling. Once you actually get the wires tight, don't worry about the position of the leaves yet. Just get it attached to the flower. You're going to do that by making twisty tie once you have it positioned the way you want it, or once you have the wire itself positioned the way you want it. And then just like the hair piece, you're going to twist this wire around the stem. Just like that. Make sure it goes all the way down, it kind of flattens out. Now you can go back in and you can position these little guys where you want them. And when I do them, I kind of bend them down. So that they're not so out. Alright, so now you've got it. It's connected. This is what it looks like from the bottom. Now if you have a little loop, like I do at the end of this little flower, cut that off. Set that to the side. And now you're going to get a piece of floral tape. Pull on it a little bit. If you pull on it a little bit, it kind of helps activate the glue. Going to cut. Just like that. And you are going to actually wrap the floral tape around the stem of this little flower. And it's kind of a pain in the butt to get it started at first. But that's okay. You're going to go all the way down to the end. Like that. And then you're going to come back up. And I'm going to trim off that piece. If you get a little piece sticking out at the end, it's okay, because it'll all end up getting wrapped up. But it's the top part up here that we're really concerned with. And the reason we wrap it with the floral tape is so that no wires are poking through. Now, some people will stop here. They believe floral tape looks fine, which is fine. You don't have to do wrapping with the floss. So you can stop here because it's now green, or you can wrap with floss. Okay. The way we do this, unwind some. You're going to leave a little bit of a tail. The tail is going to stick down. And you hold on to the tail. Now I like to go in between the leaves. When I first start, you're going to actually wrap you go every other leaf. And the reason we do this is because it helps secure your floss, and then you're just going to start spinning and just pay attention. Keep a little bit of tightness on it. As you spin, it will start to cover your stem. Okay. And as you can see, there's the tails here. The tail's actually going to get covered up, so you don't have to worry about cutting any of the tail off. And once you get down so far, you can actually spin it pretty fast. Now, when you're about to this point on your stem, you're going to stop for a second and you're going to look to see where you want to put your leaf, because you're going to attach a leaf as well. I'd say there's a good place. Now, here's the tricky part. You can do one of two things. You can continue to wrap this without adding any more floral tape. Or you can do what I do, which is actually it's a little bit more of a reinforcement. And take my floral tape, take some more floral tape, cut a snip off. I'm going to take my floral tape and I'm going to wrap it around your leaf, where you want your leaf to be, and the stem. I'm just going to keep going down until they're together. And we're going to come back up. Everybody says, well, why didn't you do that before you started wrapping your silk thread around? Simple. Trying to wrap silk thread with a leaf on it is kind of a pain in the patookus, which you're going to see. Alright, so now you can continue with your thread. Now the floral tape also helps keep your thread in place because it's sticky. And this is where the pain in the butt part comes in, because the leaf kind of gets in the way. Keep going. Just keep going. Alright, push your leaf up. Finish wrapping down your stem. Now I don't, when it comes to the little flower, because the little flower is going to get connected to the big flower. It's going to be kind of like this. Like that. I don't go all the way down with my thread. So I'm going to cut it here. Cut a tail off. Around a little bit more. And get some more floral tape. Floral tape is the glue of the floral world. I'm going to wrap it around the bottom. Like so. Okay. Now you're going to do the same thing for the big one. I'm going to add this one. Back in, and you're going to wrap them together. Now when you're doing this part, you have to really pay attention to make sure there's no gaps in your thread. Which isn't always that easy. Continue down. Until it's finished. Okay, once you get to the end, if this wasn't bright green and it wasn't being shoved into this, I would actually finish all the way down. But as it is, since you're not going to see this part anyways, I'm not going to waste my thread or my time by going all the way to the end. I'm going to unwind this a little bit. Now you're going to make a knot. And I always make a second knot. Come on, work with me. Once you get to the end, sometimes they like to come apart. That the thread will come apart. If you do embroidery, you know that they do that on purpose. Sometimes you don't need every single strand in the thread. And then what you're going to do, and I don't have it here, is you're going to get some glue. Where's my glue at? Over there. Let me grab my glue. Okay. You can take your glue. You can either use E6000. This is actually a jeweler's glue that I'm using right now. And you're going to put it on the end. Or you can take fingernail polish. Same thing. You dab it on the end and you kind of tighten down your thread. And then you let that dry. Okay. And here is your final piece. She's very pretty. It's all together. You got your leaves coming out. And all you're going to do is once this glue is dry, you're going to take this and you're going to shove it down in here. And then you'll decorate the bottom. Like, oops. As I break it. Like I said, I put moss on mine. You can put pebbles. You can put the the stones from the fish tank. They come in all multitude of colors. You can use that as well. So, and that's it. Hey guys, if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for hanging out. I know this was a longer video. Trying to show you guys how to do these things isn't always easy, and I know I don't have the greatest camera angle right now. I've tried shooting on my phone, and my phone doesn't always work. It jumps, so it almost looks like it's cutting parts off when it really isn't. But yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you. Please like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Here's our mini. It's not potted yet. I still have to pot it. I'm waiting for it to dry. But our mini wildflowers. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. And then our hair clip, which I still need to hot glue together, but as you can see, and they're really pretty. You know, put it in like this. They look really nice in. I don't know. I might even wear this one later. That does look really pretty, doesn't it? Alright, and that's it. Again, thank you so much for hanging out. Check back regularly. I'm going to be trying to make more and more of these videos about the just little things that I do during the day. Most of the time they'll just be hyperlapses instead of actual tutorials. So thank you again. Thank you again for hanging out. Have a good day. Bye.